ரிமோட் மட்டும் கேட்டானா?
ஹலோ
சார் மேம் சொல்லுங்கள்.
ரிமோட் மட்டும் கேட்டார். கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் காலில் ரிமோட் மட்டும் கொடுத்துருங்க. சரியா? ரிமோட் எங்கே இருக்குது? சிஸ்கோ லேபில் இருக்குங்களாமா? சரியா?
நம்ம இப்போ சுத்தம் வந்துருக்கோங்க மேம்.
சிஸ்கோ லேபில் இருக்குது. அப்புறம் முடிச்சுட்டு ஹலோ ஹலோ முடிச்சுட்டு இவனை போய் இவன் மறந்து வந்து ஃப்ரீயாக தானே இந்த நம்பர் தானே வந்து போகுதாடா? இப்போ எப்படி இருக்குது பாரு.
மேம் இங்கே
ரமேஷ் பேசுகிறேங்க. முடிச்சுட்டுங்க ப்ரோக்ராமிங் லேப் 2ல் முடிஞ்ச டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணிவிட்டு 60 சிஸ்டத்துக்கு அடோப் போகிறோம், ஃபோட்டோஷாப் போடணும். நீங்கள் காலையில் போக அந்த ஒர்க் பாருங்கள். மதியானம் பேலன்ஸ் இருக்கிறது நம்ம பசங்க யாராவது ஃப்ரீயாக இருந்தால் ஹெல்ப் காமிச்சிருக்கோம். ஏன்னா எல்லோரும் ஒர்க்கில் இருக்கிறாங்க. சரி, 2 பேர் லீவ் போட்டாங்க.
என்ன சொன்னாங்க?
ப்ரோக்ராம் வந்து எதாவது முடிஞ்சு டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாம். ஓகேம்மா ஓகே.
நேம் எல்லாம் மாற்றிட்டாங்க. நேம் மாற்றிட்டாங்க. கீழே கீழே எல்லாம் மாற்றிட்டாங்க. கீழே நேம் மாற்றிட்டாங்க. இல்லை அவங்க மாற்றிட்டாங்க. லைவில் ஓடுறோம். லைவ் ஓடிட்டு போயிடும். அப்புறம் நம்ம பேசுகிறது அப்படியே தான் இருக்குது. சொல்லுங்கள் கார்த்தி. சொல்லுங்கள் கொஞ்சம். கொடுங்க கொடுங்க. ஒரு நேற்று ஒரு லிங்க் அமைச்சிருந்தோம்ல,
என்ன பண்ணணும்?
அந்த லிங்கை போடுங்க. போடுங்க அந்த லிங்கை போடுங்க.
கேஸ் யாராவது ஒருத்தர் பார்க்கணும். இது என்ஜி போனால் போதுமா? எனக்கு வாட்ஸ்அப் பண்ணிக்கிறேன்.
பார்த்துருக்கேன்.
இப்போ கவர் இருக்குங்க. வாட்ஸ்அப் பண்ணிவிடுங்க. அப்படியே வந்துடுங்க. சரி வாங்க அப்படியே. ஹலோ
ஸ்லீப் மோட் டச் பண்ணிட்டீங்க.
நெவர் இருக்கு.
ஏன் ஆஃப் ஆகுது? டென்ஜி பேஜிங் சொல்லு.
காலேஜ் அவங்களோட காலேஜ் எப்படி ரிப்ளை பண்ணியிருக்கோம். புரியல.
நம்ம வெப்சைட் இருக்கும்.
வருதுங்களா? வட்டை முடிச்சுங்களா?
ஏன் செஞ்சேன்?
அந்த பண்ணுங்க அந்த பண்ணுங்க.
ஹலோ சரி. அண்ணா நம்ம வெப்சைட்டுக்குள்ளே எங்கே இருக்குது?
பண்ணிக்கலாம் சார்.
வரலையா எனக்கு? இப்போ டேப் யூஸ் பண்ணி
அப்படியே
சரியா? சரி. ஓகே ஓகே. லைவ் ஸ்ட்ரீமிங் டேபில் ஸ்லாஷ் லைவ்
மெக்கானிக்கல் இதுக்கு ஒரு போட்டி 17 ஒரு ஸ்லைடு தெரியாது
அதுக்குன்னு ஈஸ்ட் வெஸ்ட் 17 என்ன
1487 அது கேமிங் சொல்லி இப்போ அது மாற்றிருக்காங்க இல்லை அப்போ அவங்க சரி இப்படி வராது அப்படி போ அந்த பக்கம் அந்த சரி இதை போடலாம் எப்பயுமே மெக்கானிக்கல் இடத்துல போட்டுடுறானுங்க யா இருக்கா அப்படி எதுவும் மெயின் சென்டர் பாயிண்ட்
ஸ்ட்ரைட்டு ஒன்றும் இல்லை ஸ்ட்ரைட்டுங்கிறது நீ அதில் அட்ஜஸ்ட் பண்ணிக்கலாம் தான்
சொல்லுங்கள் சார் அது இருக்குங்க சார் அது ஓடிங்க இல்லை போயிட்டுருக்கு சார் சொல்லுங்கள் சஞ்சு அதே தாங்க சார் சரி எடுத்துடுச்சு ஓகே எடுக்கலையா சரி சரி ஓகே புரியல எடுக்கலையா சரி சரி இருக்கு இருக்கு புரியல எடுக்கலையா சரி சரி இருக்கு இருக்கு புரியல கொடுத்துட்டாரு இதே க்ளோஸ் தெரியும் காலேஜ் இதே க்ளோஸ் தெரியும் காலேஜ் இதே க்ளோஸ் தெரியும் காலேஜ் இதே
Check. பயனை எழுத்தென்ப இவ்விரண்டும் கண்ணென்ப வாழும் உயிர்க்கு என்னும் எழுத்தும் எனப்படும் அறிவு கண்களை பெற்றவர்களே உயிர் வாழ்வோர் என கருதப்படுவார்கள். Letters and numbers are the two eyes of man. காலை வணக்கம். Good morning to everybody. Distinguished Madam Dr. Domini and distinguished guest of honor, principal of the institute, distinguished other professionals who have gathered over here, who are on the dais, and various the faculty members who are off the dais, and some of the guest speakers who are going to be present and then be talking to you in the ensuing hours who are over here. And more than that, the future of India, the distinguished students of Dr. NGP Institute. I take this privilege of being here in this Aikyam 2018. The word Aikyam, though your people have put it in English, it's a pure, our Tamil word, Aikyam. It's something like an integrating between student and the industries. So it's a very rightly coined, word. I am really privileged to be part of this program. So the kind of a profile of what is it going to be deliberated over this day of event over here. They were talking to me, Mr. Venkatesh was talking to me like what is that kind of the theme of the program. Something like he was telling like we wanted to nurture for the industry readiness and employability. And more than that, whether the employment is there or not. Okay, there are three key takeaways. Whether the employment is there, whether the nurturing of skills is there, and what is the kind of skills you should acquire for the days to come. These three themes probably I believe is the crux of the program of what we are trying to talk about that. So while we try to understand what is the crux of the program or what is it you are all present here to kind of interact, you should know where you are in first now. Your Madam Secretary rightly told you are all well parented. That's why you are here. And you are all well guided by your other brothers, sisters, friends and groups you are over here. And similarly, you are again well guided to be in this institute. Okay. So you should know and you should first appreciate what you are in now. First, that's the kind of an initiative you should always take it in wherever is it personal or business. You should appreciate where you are in. So do you all believe that what the position you are in are appreciable first? Do you believe is appreciable? Okay. So the second step is you should extend your present position of where you are in to the next level. Let's say within Coimbatore, then probably within Tamil Nadu, then within probably India. You should say that you are part of the whole system. And is this system is going to be good for you or what is it not good for you? So I would like to tell little brief about what is this happening around us. It could be probably covering partly Coimbatore, partly Tamil Nadu or partly India. As in the part of the introduction you was mentioning like FICCI, it's nothing but a Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce where a lot of people interact and then we try to understand how the business moves, how the business should be and how the business is structured India and globally. So having a feel of how the business moves around and how is it happening in India and around the world, I'd like to tell you what position you are in and where it is heading for, whether it is making sense to you and then whether it is beneficial to you, whether you will be able to get employment, whether there is a potential. Because you are talking about nurturing skills, but do you have employment? So I'd like to little describe on that and before I move to this nurturing your skills or whatever is of that. So as I told, you all should be appreciative of the position where you are in. Yes, you are appreciative of that. That you should be next position appreciative of that you are in a place, a state, a Tamil Nadu, which is a culturally a best state and it's a growing state. And you are in a place in India which is again a growing country per se. You should take one of the CRISIL report, which is an independent body which assesses the various, the states. In one of the reports of 2013, it says the various, the states it compares, and then finally it says Tamil Nadu is the one place, irrespective of the political or whatever the systems in place, it will continue to keep growing. One of the reasons it states, or there are some 3-4 reasons it stated. One of the reasons it states is that highly intellectual capital of manpower available in Tamil Nadu. That's one of the strength. So you are all forming part of that intellectual capital, and you are all guided by that pool. It's been over years that intellectual capital has been built. It's not in one day. If you take, I don't want to compare certain other states, but still we need to compare. You go to places like in Bihar or in UP, still there are wide gap. Because I have the opportunity to live there, work for some time, even now do a lot of businesses over there. I have a feeling, yes, it's definitely our intellectual capital is quite strong, quite strong. So the CRISIL report says that one of our strong growth for the Tamil Nadu per se is the intellectual capital. So the intellectual capital is nothing but the highly qualified learning of people over here. So you are in a place, irrespective of the political systems or who does or what, it will continue for generations. That's the blessings you have as a kind of brought up in this place of Tamil Nadu. If you come to a stage next about India, again worldwide if you take, the growth happens in 2 places. One in India, another one, can someone guess? China. These 2 places are the one, the growth happens in the world. The growth which is usually, kind of specified in terms of what is called as the GDP, they call gross domestic product. If you say, it comes close to the 2-digit numbers in only places like India. China's, the growth rate and its own statistics and figures is probably much questionable. There are PhDs even who do that to find out whether the numbers stated by the Chinese people are factual or not. So many of the information and things are all quite, controlled by many systems within China itself, and then whatever they give it out to the public or to the outside world is not 100% correct. But in our place, it's more democratic. Every of the information is absolutely available to us in the public domain and in every place. So our growth is fundamentally a 2-digit growth. Our economy size is something like $2.2 trillion. It's one of the largest economies in the world, coming close to that of UK. And probably we will be achieving something like close to about $10 trillion in the next 4-5 years of time, which is comparable to that of UK or other developed countries. This is the growth of India, which is happening in the world. So you are all part of that growth of the country, which is clocking something like a 2-digit, meaning like something close to 10%. People now talk about 8.27 or those things. But if you take growth in countries like US, it's about 2%. You go to European, it's about 1.5% the growth. That means the volume what I told, $2.2 trillion, it grows every year only by 2%, whereas it grows here by 8%. And if you take the growth, what we are looking at is multiple areas. We talk about agriculture, we talk about service, we talk about manufacturing. So what I am trying to tell is that you are all in part of a system, you are in part of a place which is blessed. You are in Tamil Nadu, as I told, with intellectual capital. You have got a good kind of inheritance which had come for many decades. You are part of India, which is again growing. People from every nook and corner of the world, they come and do the businesses over here. Any kind of businesses, they are willing to come and do it over here. People used to talk about ill of India several decades back in terms of quality, deliverable, whatever is that they tell. People probably go from here elsewhere to the world, they work, because what happens is that they are made to couple to work within the system. That's fine. But when they do businesses in India, today people are ready to come and do the businesses over here, because the business is happening here. The business is happening here, as I was telling, it's a huge volume of business is happening. So this gives you quite a lot of potential for you in the years to come. What I am trying to say is that you are in a place of opportunity, and you are all in the age group for you to take these benefits in the days to come. And the growth is assured for the next generation to take it up. And again, to get into the details of what this growth comprises. The growth in our economy comprises 3 major items. One is agriculture. agriculture constitutes close to about, say, something like 20% of what I told, the 2.2 trillion of the economy size. The services, which is something like banking, financial, IT, and all these services, it constitutes something close to about 58% of the whole economy it constitutes. The remaining about 25% constituted by manufacturing, construction, those aspects of it. If you go into little, why I am telling some of this information is that we are all used to the habit of learning straight certain question and answers and straight away telling to the people. If you understand the fundamentals, you can always go to any place, any forum, and then you will be able to deliberate and talk about. I wanted to tell you that you are in a generation where the growth is assured, the employment is assured. Only thing is you will have to tap rightly, whichever is a choice of yours. So that's why I am trying to get into the little details of that for you to get an idea of it. So having told that these are all the three areas like agriculture, manufacturing, services to constitute, the employment, how much it generates, if you take one of the statistics of 2011, which has been done in India with a close analysis, the agriculture, as I was mentioning, which is about 20% of our GDP, generates 46% of employment. It gives 46% of our employment, comes from a volume which is 20% of our entire country's income. The GDP is nothing but an income of the country, like your household income. Let's say your mom and dad works or a brother works, you add up together, that's your household income. Something like country's whole income, various sectors are combined together, is called the GDP, which is what the $2.2 trillion what I was mentioning to you. Out of that, as I was mentioning, the agriculture constitutes around 20%, but it generates 47% of employment. The service sector, which constitutes around 58% of our economy, generates only around 32% of your employment. But the manufacturing and construction, which is around 25%, generates employment close to about 22% of your employment. So there is a direct correlation. If you are manufacturing and as well as your employment, it goes in hand. If you are able to increase your manufacturing, you are able to generate more and more employment. So the potential is more in the manufacturing and as well as in the construction and those related aspects. The services I told you, the 58% generating about 38% of employment is the service like IT, banking, financial, insurance, all these sectors covers that. So if you take the manufacturing per se, it's a direct correlation. The 20% of nearly of the employment generated and the GDP, what it contributes close to about 25%, there is a direct one-to-one correlation. So government is looking at increasing the manufacturing and as well as the core engineering of it, because the employment it generates more. And you are again in a place in Coimbatore which is the hub of manufacturing. You are in a place where this can be scaled up further. Today we talk about China, though for some comparisons, they talk about if you produce 1,000 numbers, they talk about producing 10 lakh numbers of anything. That's the kind of a scale they talk about in the manufacturing. So the employment there, it is fundamental. It is, it's a direct correlation. Near 20%, the growth of the economy and the employment is directly correlated. In the services, it is only half it is coming through, if you see that. So why is that I am trying to tell is that the manufacturing and those construction and those aspects will be the focus in the days to come, and that will generate huge amount of employment for the people to work with. And again, little to go into that, people talk about, you must have seen a lot of this thing like that, how is that growth in India? Some people say growth is not good, some people say growth is good, like that. See, what happens is that out of the GDP, what I was mentioning to you, something like this $2.2 trillion, close to about 70% goes for consumption. Consumption means like you just spend the money, you don't capitalize. Only 30% goes for capitalizing the various expenditures. Unless you capitalize by terms of assets and the various methods, you will not be able to build the employment and as well as the future generation. So this is where is a challenge, and the government is taking a lot of efforts towards that. And the investments from the private sector is to be on not a very encouraging state, but government what it does is that hugely invest for opening up the manufacturing sector and many of the the new avenues of businesses. So the idea is that what I am trying to tell is that you are in a place where there are opportunities in all the sectors, and the opportunities in the manufacturing sector is quite good. And if you take again go into that, the government invests hugely on many of these sectors now. In the last 3 to 4 years, whatever the growth and majority of the investments happening is predominantly from the government sectors. Probably you may be knowing, may not be knowing, or able to get a feel, and it will also continue for some years before the private sector full-fledged community and investing. So the sectors which are to again look for more opening and opportunities are the core 5 sectors. It is looked at as one of the potential opportunities, or the employment generating or the revenue generating sectors. One is the capital goods, which are, as I was mentioning to you, like the big equipment and capital equipment, these sectors. The next is the automotive sector, and our distinguished guest of honor is there from the automotive sector. Probably you will also throw light on that. And the other sector is probably the defense. Defense is another big sector, and you all know defense is getting opened up to the privatization in India now. We are the 6th largest, the army in the world, and we are the 18% spender of, our economy into the defense-related expenditures. And information which will be shocking to you is 60% of that is coming from imported equipment. The defense equipment, whatever comes of our defense budget and expenditure, 60% comes from the imported components. So the government is looking for privatizing this defense sector, which can be done in India itself, which can be manufactured in India, which can be provided with services in India itself. This is another big sector which is getting opened up for the privatization. And also the government is looking to encourage a lot of opportunities in the defense sector. And even government's own sectors, like for example in DRDO, ISRO, there are a lot of opportunities for youngsters to come through. And people, have to, earlier look only for engineering graduates for the sectors in the government job. But there is a drastic change. People are looking for jobs in IT and other sectors in between a period of about a decade. But people should be proud that there are now opportunities coming up in a very big way in the government sector, and there are people who are able to demonstrate and show a high degree of their excellence even in the government sectors. The opportunities are available and opportunities are recognized. And the other one more sector is in the energy. Energy, you all know well. Madam was talking. There is an outage. Okay, you are all able to feel the outage. She was able to still talk, but how much was that able to be listened or otherwise? The energy, the power, whether you like it or not, energy drives the economy. We all are driven by the energy per se. So the energy sector is another area which comprises the power and all other related equipment. Everything is another big area for the growth in the economy. So these are all the sectors when we talk about is the one which generates for employment. And if you take the energy per se, it's a perpetual always. At any given time you need power. So you need power plants, you need power generating equipment, you need to have those kind of fuels for that. There's quite a lot of opportunities in that. And in the country, if you take on the whole, or as an all India through, 3,45,000 megawatt of power plant is already installed. And probably now what we are looking at is that we have the power shortage. Earlier used to be something like about 6-7 years. Power shortage is there, but today even at the national level, at all India level, we say the power shortage is around 2 to 3%. And if you take Tamil Nadu, about 6-7 years back there is a shortage, but we have to appreciate the government because a lot of efforts were taken. In fact, there are a lot of plants were built during that period, and that is what that brought it to us. Something similar to we call as a surplus state now. We have close to about 28,000 megawatt of power available in Tamil Nadu per se. But now the opportunities are these coal-based or the fossil fuel-based power plants are producing a lot of CO2 gases, and it is affecting the environment. Today people talk about something like environmental damage. You get rains in unseasonal times. You get hot weather in unseasonal weathers. And similarly, you go to places like in Dubai, it rains probably about 10 days in a year, which used to be only 10 years once it used to rain. And you place like go to Qatar, the rain goes like flooding the places. So the climatic changes are resulting in an increase in the global temperature. What we are about 15-20 years back, and on average temperature we lived in, about 1.5 to 2 degrees it has got increased globally overall. But this is not good because this will kill several of our environmental habitats, and then it will have a lot of implications on our health, on our systems, on our way we work, way our function. Everything will change. So the world over they are talking about bringing this temperature by 1.5 to 2 degrees down, and as a part of these energy producing plants, these power plants, coal based plants and these energy producing equipment, majority contributes in spoiling or increasing the temperature. So there is now a lot of thinking that we should not go for the coal based, oil based, gas based plants. So people now talk about what is called as the renewable energy. This throws another big opportunity because we are in a terrain where you have on an average 320 sunny days. So the solar sector opens up a very big opportunity. Place like Germany, which has got only around 180 days of the sunny days, has their power completely met out from the renewable energy, from solar, wind and those sectors. But whereas in our place, it's only out of, as I told, 3,45,000 megawatt of power. We have only around 15.3% which is coming from the wind and again solar and those kind of the energy. And again, if you take that, that is also majority contributed from our Tamil Nadu only, and especially from the places around Coimbatore. You should be proud of that, and that is again a sector government is looking at developing the renewable and solar in a very big way. It will give you a lot of opportunities, and it is a multidiscipline. Cutting across all the disciplines, you will have opportunities to really work in this energy sector. And people now talk about the solar in a very wide way. Land-based solar you might have seen, rooftops you might have seen. Now we talk about solar on the water. See, there are a lot of ponds, there are a lot of lakes, there are a lot of water bodies. On that, the solar panels float and then it produces power. And this is the kind of technology even in our company. We have acquired the technology from a Chinese company, and then we are implementing a large power plant on the water. In Tuticorin, we are implementing that plant on a total turnkey in our company. So that's another set of opportunity which is opening up, and that is the next avenue for people to take it up. But similarly, you have the opportunity in the electric vehicle sector. If you take the electric vehicle sector, again, is going to be a very big opportunity. People talk about something like close to 40 million electric vehicles to come on the road in the next 10 years of time. So this is another big opportunity for us. The real challenge in that is everything is common, only the battery and the wheel. This is the only challenge. And there are very good manufacturing opportunity in the electric battery. A lot of research and development is happening, and that's again a multidisciplinary opportunity for you to really take it up. And as I was mentioning to you, the core sectors for you to really look for opportunities and deployments, these are all the sectors available, as I was mentioning to you, like capital goods, automobile, defense, and power, energy sector. And there are a lot of other subsectors also people are looking at, like leather and probably the pharmaceutical and biotechnology. Other sectors are also there. But the core 5 sectors are these 5 what I was mentioning to you. This opens up huge amount of opportunity for you. And again, when you take, having I told you that these are all the opportunities available, what is the kind of opportunity you are going to grab? That's again is another set of idea we'll have to really talk about. Are you going to take about a regular conventional job per se for you to go about and take, or you wanted to be an entrepreneur on your own? See, the days while probably the madam or probably we as a kind of a profession we take over, there are not encouragement for the entrepreneurial, the skills to be honed up and then brought up. But still I will tell you, each of us are entrepreneurs by ourselves. Each of us are CEOs by ourselves. Each of us are promoters by ourselves. Even wherever you are in, whichever the place, in all these opportunities I told you, you can get employment. If you are an entrepreneur, you can give employment to the others. And you yourself will be a CEO of the company. There are young CEOs with one employee, that is yourself, is also the opportunity. There are a lot of encouragement being given by the government and by the institute in taking that entrepreneurial in a very big way. There are startup initiatives, the appreciated schemes are there. A lot of encouragement is being given towards that, and people can really tap that and avail that as an opportunity. So having we talked about there are enough the opportunities available per se, and what is the growing trend, and you are all a part of this growth, and the countries elsewhere outside all dependent on many of these sectors. Either for the business in India, they make certain developments. Like for instance, some of this technology, you are not able to do the researches, you are not able to locate your server properly, you don't have power continuously available, so they locate the server in Singapore or elsewhere. But still again they serve for India. Still they again serve for India. So the business is here, the heart of the place is here, so you are all assured of a promising future and there is a quite promising employment. So when we talk about this is the opportunities available, and these are all the sectors, as I told you, are available for you in the next decade of time, about 10 years, 15 years of time. What are the skills you should really look for? The skills what you had in 90s may not be relevant now. The skills what you had answered straight from your technical book, one-to-one, may not be sufficient for you. You may have to think something beyond that. Actually, I am little upset in some of these days, like used to see the ranking of various institutes of even my own Anna University. It says that the ranking, if you see the ranking, it says this is the ranking of various institutes like that. Only thing is, what does that ranking constitute? It indicates a pass percentage. It indicates a pass percentage. What I feel is that your academic, your basic degree is the fundamental. Passing that is not your kind of a medal for you to claim. It is a base, you have to definitely do it. It is mandatory. You all come from a good guided and good parentage and good fundamental good institute. You should not be proud to say that your pass percentage is so much, you claim to be an appreciated place. You have to mandatorily come out successfully from your academic. So leave that portion of your kind of gaining in your academic. You have to go beyond that academic, what is that is looked for. What the academic or the fundamentals of these 8 semesters or so, what is it described, is your minimum most requirement for you to get an idea of what an engineering or what are all the fundamentals. You should do an equivalent amount of work during your 4 years for you to really to be sustainable and for you to be successful in the days to come. Because as I was mentioning to you, these are all the sectors which are all open and available. You can really grow. You can really, take your career. You all can become CEOs and managing directors of the company. Even in the age of 30s, it is possible. Because the opportunities are available. Opportunities are plenty. The only thing is you will have to tap it and then you will have to really take it up. How is it for you to do that? So you will have to definitely do certain extended work beyond your academics. How is that you are going to do? It's the one probably the topic of the day for you really to deliberate and take it up. One is that today the technology is available. Technology is available not for messaging and not for kind of exchanging information. So the technology available, you should embrace it very efficiently. Whatever the methods and whatever the technology available is the platform which is, you will have to use it effectively. Probably you wanted to take a career, say in one particular sector, it's absolutely available for you to take any kind of learning out of the technology. The technology you can take, you can try to embed it along with what you are thinking for and then try to develop a product. Say a simple thing is like your agricultural field, okay? The pumps run. One of the small ideas from the Aikyam. So the pumps keep running. People have to physically go and then switch on or switch off the motor. But there are sensors which are embedded along the field. It gives you an indication in your mobile through the IoT. What is the moisture level in the soil it had acquired. Sensing that, it gives you a feel that you can switch off the motor. This is the kind of embracing the technology along with what that is intended for in whatever the sector we are in. So wherever the sector, whichever is that you would like to specialize, you take that, it could be a very small portion and then you try to develop it. Use the technology effectively. And then for your learning, use the technology effectively. Not necessarily only a PPT to be made or a PowerPoint to be made and things like that to be used for a purpose of technology. The technology could be used extensively for many purposes. Very efficiently could be used. So the technology, try to use it and then you make a learning out of that. This is probably one soft method of learning, as I was mentioning, your 8 semesters or academic learning is a fundamental, minimum requirement. An equivalent learning of that, you need to put it means you will have to look for opportunities. You go out of your place. You try to go and then learn. Like while I was doing my engineering, I passed out in 84. 80 was my first year. First year I came out. The first semester I was in my native place. That time the lecturer was for me. He said, "What are all you going to do?" I said, "Okay, we spent some time with the family the first semester." He said, "No, come to a place or an institute to undergo some training." Training? What training? He said, "Come." He took it to the Anna Transport Corporation. It's now the SETC, State Express Transport Corporation. Earlier it used to be, each of these places had the transport corporation. In Salem, it is Anna Transport Corporation. He took it to the managing director of that Anna Transport Corporation. He said, "These boys are from Gindi Engineering College, Anna University. I vouch for them." He took the letterhead and said, I vouch for them. You please give them the training for 1 month over here." And he said, and he met the managing director. And he was the lecturer, the person who came with me. And they gave me the training. They gave all of us, we all underwent. That learning made me personally to look for similar training every of the semesters. Every of the semesters while I was passing out. And at the end of the 6th or 7th semester, had the opportunity to work in Usha fans for about, that was a time in Chennai is a drought of severe shortage of water for about 4 months. The college was closed. Had an opportunity to have a kind of a paid training. That was first about 500 rupees was my first salary. I got that a paid training in Usha fans, where in the assembly shop I learned to assemble first and learn, then I learned to reduce the rejections. I'll stand with the hammer and then do some hammering and then reduce the rejection rate. I made a report and presented it. It's one of the small projects. End of that 4 months training, they offered me a job. He said, "Finish your degree and then you can come and join." So I had a kind of a training across all these semesters, all these places, each semesters I had the training. While I appeared for my job, even in those days, and had about 4 or 5 opportunities to really take on. And people, while I looked at it, I was able to present that these are all the training, these are all the places I went to. And the person who had introduced me to the first semester is that none other than the former Vice Chancellor of the Anna University, Dr. Vishwanathan. And he was also able to prove that he was one of the youngest VC of the university, because he was taking some initiative among the lot of people who are there. And that was definitely a learning in those days. And if you take the experience when you talk about a person, by interacting with the various industries or an outside world, and by within yourself, there is a distinct difference. So what I am trying to say is that today I am not sure whether it is possible for you to go out of the place and take the learning or otherwise, but you have got every opportunity, either Coimbatore or outside everywhere. Or people now talk about an extended help. See, today, as we were all brought up in a different method and way of culture and things, that industry is also brought to you. How is that is brought to you? Probably your institute can look for soliciting some of these manufacturing companies or certain service providers to come and set up a lab here. They can have a small manufacturing here. Take 2 hours, 3 hours of your time every day. Go and then do the manufacturing or learning there. Either you do it on a soft skill, in a computer lab, a virtual learning, or go and do it physically over there. This is the kind of the thing. So unless you look for these opportunities, as I was mentioning, see, like the defense, there are a lot of opportunities. A lot of company startups are there. Probably, I think if you all take interest, talk to your, the management. They are all willing to support you. Unless you come with the initiative, nobody will come and then do that. You can establish a facility over here. IIT Madras has got what is called as IIT Research Park, which is about 7-story building, wherein the companies, they came and the house themselves. Probably you can even think that you can have a small place earmarked within the campus itself, and then you can provide a laboratory for a company, laboratory for a chemical company, or probably a small factory. Produce some components. Take 2 hours of your time. Go and then do by yourself and then learn. Or if it is a computer lab, go and then sit and do it by yourself. This is the kind of a learning, extended learning, you have to really take it up and go on. As I was mentioning to you, you should do little hard learning of outside world. If it is not possible, try to do it captively within your place. And then extended further, you fine tune, harness your whatever the skills you are having in. There are a lot of good certification courses and certification program available. good ones you should resort to. Like for example, what are the skills required in the days to come? Like for example, project management. Irrespective of the sectors like automobile or IT or engineering, core, whatever is it, project management. How do you manage a project? How do you, let's say even you organize the event, how do you organize the event? There is a start and end. What are the activities? How do you do that? Who is to do what? There are what are the resources? This is called the project management. So this project management, there is a certification given. Earlier this certification used to be only limited to the people with experiences. But this is now open for the people who are freshers. Even in our company, while we take the freshers in, I make sure that they undergo this certification, which is a level D as an entry. There is a certification institute called International Project Management Association. That is where they offer different levels of level D, C, B, A. A is the highest level which I had acquired, and I am the 23rd person who had acquired. And you all must be knowing Dr. Sivadan Pillai, who was the BrahMos chairman and ISRO scientific the advisor. He is one of the certified person, and he is currently the chairman of this institute of that project management. So he made sure that even the student level, entry level are provided with this level D training. I am giving this as an example for you to acquire a certification. It could be a certification similarly in whatever the other sectors. It could be in the core IT. Take a proper good certification, not a namesake certification. You will have to invest a small money, it is worth of investing. You will have to do that. And again, our kind of industries, we are from industry, we build large capacity power plants like 800 megawatt, 600 megawatt power plants, solar power plants, large plants. We do it completely what we call turnkey. We do it right from design until completing the plant and handing over to the end users. We have projects throughout India. We have businesses in Middle East. We have businesses in Southeast Asian country. And what we look for as a kind of some of the skills are these project management we look, and there are certain project management software are there which are helpful in managing these projects. See, certain very complex projects involving about 3 years of time. Today people now try to simulate and run and see whether the project really takes 3 years or can be compressed. How is it possible? Are you able to sit and do the project 3 years and then take the learning? Nowadays there are softwares available which you can simulate and run. It's a software called the Primavera. You can try to learn that. There are a lot of opportunities once you acquire that learning of the software in the sectors like oil and gas, power, in the Middle East like Abu Dhabi and Kuwait. With this certification you get a straight clear job you will be able to get. And there are certified trainers over here, and then you will be able to get a proper learning of that. And similarly like a quality control in the oil and gas industry. This is another big sector and opening of that. And similarly the HSC, health, safety, environment. So this is another big opportunity for us in our nature of industries or in other industries. People today talk about the environment, how much is that is impacted, how safe we are in. This morning we are talking to your chairman. He was mentioning like how the Chennai metro is constructed, how it looks, how safely it is there. So people now talk about safety in a very significant way. Earlier we don't value life, but today we at least feel there is a value for life. And elsewhere and outside the country, people give a lot of importance to that. If you try to do certain things, deviating from the safety principles and health and environment, even if you put a small dust, they see seriously. But here there is now an awareness is coming through. There are certifications available for you to really to acquire that also. This is the kind of another set of opportunity, like as I told you, go out to industry, learn something, or captively in your own place somebody comes and gives you, or you acquire some of them in the computer lab, or you undergo some of the core learning and certification and fine-tuned to harness your skills what you are having in. You may learn probably mechanical engineering or electronics, but you will have to distinctly say, I have some distinct certification or learning out of that. If you are able to show that with the employer, or you yourself will be the CEO of the company, meaning like you yourself can be a trainer to somebody. That's the kind of opportunity today available. So having we talked about these are all the opportunities, and as well as what are all the learnings you should do to get nurtured for your next generation, what you are going to face in the days to come. What is that? Is that little over and above this technical and other things? What is that? Is the learning in the days to come for you to manage? First thing is that you should be able to face failures. There are a lot of attributes, and probably my other distinguished guests and they may be also able to show you or put you a lot of ideas. I only wanted to share only one idea. You should be able to face the problem and face the failures. If you are trying to evade the problem, that is not the solution. It will be kind of hunting you. If you don't face the problem will keep hunting you. You will have to face the problem. It could be a success in managing and solving the problem, or it could be a failure. You should be able to face the failures. And whatever the failures you have is your strength. Today when you go to some of the places where you as an entrepreneur seek some fund or probably go for employment, people ask, you are learning. What do you say? I have all the positives. Positives are there. They know your certificates and documentation is there. You are from a good institute, good parentage, good reference, good recommendation letter is there. What is the failure you have faced, and then what is that, how is it you have managed? And that is what is that going to be really a learning for you. You all have to ready to face the failures. Those failures are your learnings, hard learnings. That learning you should definitely demonstrate in your life. You should develop with that, not to repeat it, and make that learning so that, and then you are able to present it. Either, let's say as an entrepreneur, you go and seek a fund, you will have to be able to go and tell them what is that is the failure you have faced, how is it you are going to manage it. They will be able to recognize you better, that because you are a person who had undergone that rigmarole of whatever is the learning out of that. I would only say that this is one of the very demanding, kind of a soft skill, or probably whatever the you are extended beyond your academic or little extra academic. I told you. Other probably the skill what should acquire is that face the failures, learn from the failures. And there are certain institutes, they or in certain overseas company, they allow tested failures. People, they allow them to do a tested failures, and then probably learn out of that. But probably here the failures happen in our day to day, every other place. You should be able to learn from that and then build your, the career or whatever the future of it. So having we talked about broadly, you have opportunities. We have what are all the sectors which are available in the days to come, and then we have got also told, or rather probably deliberated about what all your little extended beyond your academic is required, and probably what is that little skill is required for you to manage it about like facing the failure. Before I close, I only wanted to say one small thing with the permission of the madam. Maybe I think it will be taking more time. You all know many Indian who have been in US or Western countries having achieved, and people are millionaires, billionaires, those things. You may not be knowing one person by name Amar Bose. I don't know how many of you are fond of sound. There is a Bose system. That company founded by Amar Bose. Their philosophy is deliver sound as a sound. Deliver sound as a sound. Meaning they research so much to deliver you sound as a sound. So the systems or the speakers or the whatever the components they develop are used in, like in Holy Mecca Medina, it is used, or in many places. It delivers what you speak as your speech, not distorted, where you had a reduced way. So he is a person settled about 2 generations back in US, and he had founded kind of a foundation, and substantial of it goes for the research. He has that. He had visited one time India, and probably he was not brought up here, but he was brought up in US and he visited India. He visited a saint in Bangalore. So the saint was asking, like, you have developed so much, and then you have developed a lot of theories and the products and the inventions in sound. What has it made you to really do that? He thought a while, and then he was asking, can you give me some guesses to that saying? He said, I don't have a guess, but you tell what is it which made you do. He said, it is not my intellectual ability or otherwise, because I always hire the people and do that. It is only my wish or only my attitude which I wanted to make this to happen, to deliver this as a sound. That made me to go. So I only say that you all have gathered here with the only one mission of having a successful career to face your generation and face your future. So I appreciate your good attitude of having patiently listening and then be gathering over here. Apart from your fundamental learnings, I appreciate that, and I believe that probably can take all of us with a similar Indian spirit to really to culminate, to take it to a next level. I wish this Aikyam 2018 to be successful with a lot of interactions with the people. So I wish you all a good luck, and I am available at my contact numbers and as well as the mail ID, which I will give it to your team, and that is probably you can communicate at any point of time. You are most welcome for any of your industrial interactions, either in the company or probably in the Chamber of Commerce. I can put you through and then you can interact with the team of people over there. Thank you very much and good luck to you all.
Thank you, sir, for your very informative and engaging talk. Now I request our Madam Secretary, Dr. Kaunidi Paliswamy, to present a memento to Mr. M. Nandakumar. Thank you, ma'am. We shall now break for 15 minutes before starting the next session on engineering degree with a career decision. Apologies, a change in schedule. I now request Mr. K. P. Sai Pradeep, Placement Officer, Dr. NGP Institute of Technology, to introduce our guest of honor.
So respected dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, faculty members and my dear students, good morning to all present here. So on this pleasant and colorful morning of Aikyam 2018, it's my privilege to introduce the guest of honor, Sri V.P. Ponnusamy, General Manager, HR in Readiness Automation India Private Limited, Chennai. He did his graduation in Law, postgraduate diploma in Personal Management and Human Resources in Symbiosis International University and Masters in Business Administration and Sociology. He has around 26 years of experience in the field of human resource management and development, strategical planning with reputed organizations. Previously, he worked in companies like Hyundai Motor India, Hindustan Unilever Limited, Visakha Industry Limited, Polymatic Electronics Limited in various capacities in the field of human resources. He has vast experience in the formulation and development of strategic business plan and handling various HR processes like manpower planning, recruitment, selection, performance, management and training and development. He also proven ability in ensuring amicable industrial relations among management and workers achieved by a pragmatic mix of administration, participation schemes and practices. And he is an out-of-the-box thinker with the distinction of having introducing and streamlining sustainable human resources policies and practices. He handled various sessions for aspiring leaders in education institutions like IITs and other institutions. And he also has lifetime membership in professional bodies like ISTD, NHRD, CHROMA and HR panel member of FICCI Chennai region. So we are honored by your presence on this occasion, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request our guest of honor, Mr. V.P. Ponnusamy, General Manager, HR, Renault Nissan Automotive India Private Limited, to kindly address the gathering. Please, sir.
Happy morning to Secretary Madam, Chief Guest Mr. Nandakumar, Principal Dr. Venkatesh, who was after me, Dr. Law, Mr. Sai Pradeep and Mr. Prabhakar, teaching faculty and the speakers of the afternoon session, and Varungalamile. Mudana Sabra. So you should feel proud and you should appreciate yourself. Okay, once again, happy morning. I would like to thank the management for giving me an opportunity to be present in front of you. Just 5 minutes the best. My session starts after tea break, so maybe you may feel bad about me or good about me. I will take a call up. I can't talk much. And when Madam spoke, I was dumbfounded. So what inputs I can give to you? So that shows she is very much focused on your career and very much focused on your individuality. And when Mr. Nandakumar said about soft skills, that's very important. Actually, academics is very important. To become employable, that's only 12.5%. Academics will be considered. Balance 87.5%. What they look at is your soft skills and other skills and your other capabilities. PISA, yeah, was in PISA. Academics is like PISA or a base. And other soft skills and all other skills is like the fillings on PISA. But without that base, you can't make PISA. You can't carry PISA. You can't sell PISA. The fillings are which attracts people like employers like me, Mr. Nandakumar and all employers will look for that fillings on the PISA. And that's what is mainly required from you and mainly expected from you. And as I was rightly telling about failures, because in my session I talk a lot about it, I love failures. And if someone comes to someone is being interviewed by me, I only ask them, what are your failures? I never ask what is your success, what is your strength. I'm least bothered about that. I only inquire about the failures. That may include even low failure. Because I just want to know how that fellow or the girl comes out of it. That's where I assess a capability or caliber of a candidate and then recruit. So with this, I'll just stop this session because I think we got a break. I'll not leave you. 1 hour and session. We'll see. Thank you. Wish you all the best. Thank you for the institute for giving an opportunity to be present here. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
I now request our Madam Secretary, Dr. Davamanidi Palaniswamy, to present a memento to Mr. V.P. Ponuswamy. Thank you, ma'am.
We shall now break for 15 minutes before starting the next session on engineering degree with a career decision. Refreshments will be served outside. Kindly assemble back on time. Thank you.